This is the Pod Cave Podcast. Here's Jason, Michelle, and Goose.
All right.
We are live.
We are back, Jace.
Yes, we are.
And we have a new addition to our podcast.
New addition.
Who is going to be with us every week. And for our
Bell Biv DeVoe, new edition?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
That
brings
right
me
there,
back.
that voice right there is Rob Burnett, who Super Bowl champ with me. The Baltimore Ravens played in Cleveland. After the Ravens, he went over to Miami. So what'd you get, 15
I'm old,
years?
man. I'm old.
How many years?
100.
100 years in the NFL.
It's a record.
And
Yeah,
now,
it
wait,
is.
hold on.
It is.
And now we have who's going to be with us every week, because I know people are tired of hearing just me and you, Jace. Two
Are they?
guys.
Are they?
Yeah,
They want to hear somebody funny.
Yeah, they want to hear something nice, a sweet voice. this and
Somebody
that.
cute.
No?
Michelle
Yeah,
Serpico is going to be with us every week. Everyone say hello to Michelle.
What's up,
Michelle.
Shelly?
And what's
You
cool?
like Shelly?
Shelly, yeah. My
Yeah,
friend
Shelly's
calls me
cool.
Shelly.
Shelly's
All right,
cool.
all right. Now
that.
Michelle is an expert in MMA. She actually goes and has kids. Michelle, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
So I am a sideline reporter for the CFFC,
Right.
cage side reporter. I do a weekly update for NewYorkFighting.com. It's a New York-based fighting website, and an update every week of what's going on, primarily in New York news, but we cover all MMA.
And
so.
she's very up to date with the NFL, what's going on, baseball. She worked for MLB, so she knows a lot more shit than we do.
Out?
Jay.
I got to
Could you choke somebody out?
Yeah.
I got to ask you. That's what I want to Rob, that's what I want to
Yes.
ask.
Yeah.
So you actually fight.
No, I don't. I mean, I've fought before. I've trained, but no, I would not say I fight. I do want to get into it.
But you
I took a
could-
jiu-jitsu class once, and I really liked it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Rob will fight you. Rob, you
You'll
fight
fight
her?
me?
What?
I'll kick your ass.
Rob's like, I'm retired.
If he won't, I will.
Okay.
All right.
Rob's like, I'm retired, man. Hell no. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Right, Rob?
Anyway.
Anyway.
Lot of stuff going on around the world.
Yes,
and,
sir. We have
I
plenty
mean-
to talk about.
I mean, there's so much out there to talk about. It's nuts. And,
Where do we begin?
let's start off.
Hey, everybody wave to the Facebook
Oh, yeah,
Live.
we're on Facebook Live,
Live.
too.
What's up,
What's
Facebook?
up, everybody?
Hey, I'm not on it, but
And we're shooting audio and video.
It's
Look, we got
first time
lights,
in the
Jace.
last
How about all
you
the
might
stuff
see
we
me.
got? Like, we're acquiring stuff every week. All we need is another head
like a
jack,
setup.
so Rob can hear himself. Because right
Yeah,
now,
I can't
Rob's
hear
unplugged,
anything. I'm unplugged.
but he still has his ears
I'm like
covered,
MTV with acoustics.
which is cool. But
The first week, we couldn't even make a phone call. Now, all of a sudden, we got a whole,
it's unbelievable.
Holy
We're
smokes.
growing
Hey,
like
we
forget about it.
listen, on Facebook Live, Darren Caesar,
Darren.
the new video expert.
Yes. So we'll be, we'll have to get dressed
We're
up.
expanding. We're expanding now.
Michelle got all
Alright.
dressed. I guess Michelle and
She
Rob
looks
called each
amazing.
other and said, "Listen, we're going to wear blue," and
we
they
color
look cute.
coordinated.
And I'm wearing
way
sunglasses
better
for some reason. I'm
Which
not
is
sure.
nice.
Rob started wearing sunglasses. I'm like, well, if he's going to wear them, I'm
Yeah.
going to wear them.
Yeah, you guys
Starting
look
a
good.
trend.
I look cool.
Well, Rob had about 7 cocktails, so he doesn't want to get in trouble when he gets home.
Wear
I
sunglasses.
had 7 before
At
7.
noon. All cool stuff. So let's get right into it, man. A lot of stuff going on around the NFL.
Yeah.
And, a lot of different views on what's going on. And Colin Kaepernick, let's just start, with him and all the problems that, that he has incurred with, protesting and sticking it out, I'll say. And then no team signs him, and all of a sudden it started to get a little bit of life, and now everybody feels like they have to protest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Unfortunately.
It just doesn't. I don't understand it. Like, I think there's a time and place for everything. Sunday, I mean, as far as I go, and we're going to get from everybody here, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I feel. The flag is extremely important to me, extremely important to the guys that I played with. And right now, it's just a lack of respect, I think, for a lot of people. Listen, there's a time and place to go, and if you want to protest and you feel suppressed and whatever you're feeling, that's great. But Sunday is a day for all the guys who bust their ass all fucking week, okay? And then they come home and everybody's nagging them, whatever. And then Sunday they come home, they sit in their chair, they turn on their TV, and that's their day. That's like the most busiest day for man caves. Right? Everybody's in their man cave watching TV.
That's true.
Doesn't want to deal with any of the political bullshit that everybody's been going on. You can't get away from it. I mean, you could drive and not have your radio on, and you'll see signs about, political this, take a stand here, right? Everyone has a voice about everything. Yeah. To me, Sunday is football day. You don't want to hear any of the BS that you hear all week, right? If I go to a concert,
No
I
church.
don't want to hear any of the guys who were up on stage and about their political views or anything like that. I came here to hear you sing. Now sing and sing good. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel. I think you should stand up for the anthem. There might be 100 million NFL fans, but there's a lot more veterans out there and people who really take it serious. And me being one of them,
Tony knows
with the
me.
respect of the flag.
Tony knows me, 287 games.
Yeah,
I knelt every single one. So I know how they feel.
Yeah, you knelt that. That was after you made the tackle.
You had no choice. They had to help you up.
Yeah, they made me kneel, you know?
Listen, we have the same views.
it's-
How do you
you know,
feel,
it is-
Rob? I mean,
How do I feel? I feel like at the beginning, when Colin made that stand a year and a half ago, during that summer, when all those things happened, and there were some issues with the police,
right?
but he was a singular person. I believe this whole thing has become a caricature of itself.
Okay.
And now everybody wants to hold arms and do this and do that and like make it seem like they're all together and finite. Where with this 10-year collective bargaining agreement, like guys like you and myself, maybe the top 15, 20% of the roster will be safe. Everyone else is worried about their job every day when they go to work.
Right.
So you see how, this collective bargaining agreement is totally, I can't believe they signed it, and I can't believe it's for 10 years. But at the end of the day, these guys really need to really have some sort of solidarity amongst themselves, and that comes from the top. The bottom part of the roster really cannot represent the team because you'll be out of there in a second. If you're on the bottom part of the roster, you
could be replaced.
You better be quiet because at the end of the day, you can go there. You remember when they used to talk about bags you can get at the end of training camp? You could either get a leather, like say when we played with the Ravens, leather Ravens bag that said Tony Saragusa, or you can get a contractor bag with all your SH in it. Okay, which bag do you want? And if you got the contractor bag, that means you got cut.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, you wanted the bag with your name on it. Even though none of us, I've never used any of the bags. I got a whole pile of bags. I've never used one of them, but
Never.
At the end of the day, it represented something.
Rob, let me ask you something because I already know how Goose feels, right? I know how he feels, and I'm getting a sense of how you feel right now because two guys that played the game for a long time. Man, as a longtime fan myself, watching football, like Tony said, it's a Sunday. That's our church, right? We want to watch. We want to forget about everything else in the world, and we want to watch football. Do you have a real problem with that when you see that going on? Do you think a lot of these guys? It started obviously because there was some animosity towards the police, maybe for some inner city rough. The brutality that was going on. I understand why it started. Do you think it's gotten out of control now? Do you think it's gotten to the point now where I think some maybe guys are just doing it to spite? Because Trump involved himself now, and he's part of this. Do you think it's now just gotten out of control, or we've lost why?
First and foremost, I really don't think politics and football should be
mixed.
Right. And I think I explained it when I said it's become a caricature of itself.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
I said that prior, so I kind of prefaced it.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. I just as a fan, what I dislike a lot about what I'm seeing right now is that Goose is right. It shouldn't be on the field, right? I mean, I believe in everybody's right to have a say and to protest and do whatever. Sure. I believe in that 100%. I just don't think it should happen, and he shouldn't bring the flag into it. But what I don't like is the NFL, sometimes they will pick and choose, what they don't allow. Like in Dallas, the Dallas players who wanted to honor the cops that were killed, and they wouldn't let them do it. And They put their foot down and said, you can't do that. To me, it seems like you're picking and choosing what you allow and what you don't allow. Now it's okay to kneel.
Brother. It's a business. The bottom half of the roster. I'll give you an example, okay? We talk about domestic violence, okay? Tony and I both know Ray Rice very well. Ray Rice was at the bottom end of his career as a running back. He was getting to that point, and his production dropped. And unfortunately what happened, and I'm never going to ever say that domestic violence was ever any excuse, but he got caught on video. But at the same time, Greg Hardy was throwing guns and beating his girlfriend or his wife up too. So at the same time, they were both guilty of the same infraction. But Greg Hardy was a stud D lineman.
Yeah.
He's going to get a job.
Yeah.
Ray Rice is still looking for one.
Do you think, Goose? Do you think if Colin Kaepernick was a supreme quarterback that you would have to hire? Do you think he'd be working right now if he was that good?
I think he's better than probably, I'd say a third of the starters and all the backups.
Yeah.
But it all depends
much
on the
baggage.
system.
Too much
baggage.
Let's
You know
ask
what?
Michelle.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough to deal with the baggage.
To deal with the baggage. There you
Michelle, listen, you're here to give us your point of view as a female, as a an outsider that not an athlete, or how do you feel about the whole deal?
Again, I totally agree that politics and football should not be together at all.
Amen.
I think it's disrespectful. I really do. I think just go out there, play football. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Go out there, play the game, and don't bring politics into sports. Like, you're right. It's Sunday. It's supposed to be a fun day. No one thinks about serious issues like that. Like, just go play the game.
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. Like, you're out at a bar. You don't want to see like a bunch of people kneeling and then everyone's talking about politics. Like, no.
That's all you see on ESPN.
It is.
And
It's
Fox,
all
no
ESPN
matter
is talking
what.
about right now. It's
just,
crazy.
It's taken over the airways, and
Yeah.
it's just getting worse. The thing that I don't understand, right? Let's just think about this. Everybody's kneeling. What happens this week? I don't know. But I know there's been some, talking to some people in the league, there's been a lot of meetings with players, with management, saying, hey, listen, this is hurting us in the spot that we don't want to, and that's the pocket. People are getting rid of their tickets. People are canceling DirecTV.
Burning
I heard it was
their
sort of like
stuff.
2 or 3 million, people who bought, the NFL package want refunds. All this money, the players have to understand, is going to trickle down to them. Because if the ratings go down, if they're not putting people in the seats, people aren't advertising, it's going to go from the networks to the owners to the players. And that's just the way it's going to be. And they're not going to have a foot to stand on, because they've taken on something. Instead of going out there, playing the game, hold a press conference after, do whatever you have to do, they're trying to go and get something done. And here's what I was starting out with. What has to be done for this to stop? Tell me what has to happen in the country, okay? Yeah. That all of a sudden they won't, everyone's going to stand for the national anthem, everyone's going to have their hand on their heart. What is it? And I tell you what, if you ask that question to the majority of the NFL players who are kneeling, and not just NFL, let's talk about the guys in the NASCAR. Who was it? One of the junior there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. And the guys in baseball and the little kids that you see on Facebook and all these social medias that are kneeling. They don't even know why they're kneeling.
Right.
No,
exactly.
they don't.
And there's no patch. There's no okay, we want to see this done. There's no demands. It's just we're protesting the flag.
There's no context.
And I think that's what really goes and irritates a lot of the military, police, all the people who the flag represents. And it not only represents, our president and any political thing, it represents all of us.
Yeah.
That's something that, is a family thing, how I look at it.
It's a uniting.
You could say whatever you want when you're inside the family about each other, but somebody on the outside, don't disrespect the family. And I think respect is something that this generation has really lost.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you believe the president, with all the other things, storms, North Korea, X, Y, and Z, that's going on in the world, not just the country, should have gotten involved with the football issue and called people that when we were players, and I'm not paraphrasing, this is quote on Twitter, SOBs. I love my mother, and I love your mother too, and neither of them are B's.
Right. Listen, do I agree with it?
Yeah.
Could he have phrased it a little bit different? Yeah, I think it turned into a wasp nest. I think that he should have just said, we need to respect the flag. There was a different way of saying it, but that's not who he is. And listen, he's paying for it right now. I think he started this whirlwind, but the whirlwind has nothing to do with him. I don't think it's bothering him at all. He's not going to lose anything. He called out people because of the lack of respect which I understand, but I think he could have done it in a lot better way than he did. That's my stand on that.
Well, getting back to your question, Goose, what is it going to take, right? What's it going to take to end this? And
Nobody knows.
Well, here's the thing.
Is there an answer?
It's got to come
No.
from. It's got to come from the top. The owners have to take a stand here. They have to take a stand.
You know where
and
it's
say,
got to
listen,
come from? It's got to come from the top of the rosters.
Okay, that too.
It's got to come from
the leaders.
The leaders of the team.
Yeah, there you go.
The leaders of the team have to make, and like I said, this collective bargaining agreement is once they get a decent collective bargaining agreement and they have leverage when it comes to the money part of it, okay, and they know, because what goes on now is they have the television money, which every team gets $300 million a year. It's the collective bargaining agreement, and it's revenue sharing, it's called. Every team gets that check every year. And they also get a few other things, but there are a lot of things these teams are earning that are revenue streams that no one knows about, that make up this $13 billion a year monster.
Okay, so
when the players become more powerful, I'll use the NBA as an example. Their collective bargaining agreement is ridiculous.
But they don't have the players that we have, though.
I understand, but I'm talking about the CBA and what their agreement is, and what if you're a top player, forget about it. Life would be whatever. But at the end of the day, they need a better collective bargaining agreement. They need to bargain more with the league, and they need to have more leverage and more power when it comes to certain things. You know what Article 46 is?
No.
Article 46 in the collective bargaining agreement basically gives the commissioner, with all due respect, I love Roger, great guy, but it gives him the power of the judge, jury, and the executioner. So no matter what happens, Article 46, if he doesn't like it, you could be totally innocent. You could have been in another country. But if he deems that he needs to act on this,
final,
he has the power to do it.
All right.
And the players gave it to him.
Yeah, well, listen, I just look at it like this. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business. It's all about the bottom line, right? It's about the numbers. It's about the money coming in. So if you make a business decision and you let this happen, right, the owners and the powers that be let this happen, you're hurting yourself, because a lot of Americans out there do not like this. They do not like what's going on. And again, I'm not knocking them for their right to protest. I get that, and I understand it. And I'm not going to cast aspersions as anybody for whatever they believe. But at that moment in time, you're knocking. What you're doing as a business is you're taking a lot of people away, and you're upsetting a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? This is the bottom end of the roster. A lot of those guys aren't going to be there next year. This is a different game.
But it affects
now.
the NFL.
It wasn't the bottom end of the roster that was kneeling on Sunday, though.
Right, but it affects the NFL.
I mean, they all were kneeling. I mean, it's gone almost to the point of it's a novelty now. If you don't,
a caricature.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, if you don't kneel
going
now,
to the
it's
Palm
almost
Restaurant.
Like, you're the guy in the locker
on
room
the
that's
wall.
not following everybody else. Everything that they instill in you on being a team guy and following the team. Now this is all right. When it comes to this, this has nothing to do with anything that we know of. This doesn't have to do about team. This is about stuff off the field. And when you start making things that are off the field become part of the stuff that's on the field, then you got a serious problem, and that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I just think it's a moment for all of us as Americans to come. That's a moment to come together. That's something all our lives we've stood at attention for. You know what I mean? When they play the national anthem, the flag is flying, we've all stood together hand in hand. That's a moment. That's just an American moment. You know what I mean? And I just don't think that needs to be in that particular.
I think our country looks weak because of that. It looks like we're all going our own different ways. We don't stand together.
Goose, let me ask you: you were at the London game?
Yeah. No, I wasn't at the London game. I was there for the week before London. I came home for the game.
Tony was on his knees praying.
No.
So, but at the London game, from what I saw, they kneeled for our national, and this is on foreign soil. Kneeled for our national anthem, then they got up for "God Save the Queen."
You're right. I mean,
that doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Listen,
and then they played like they were on their knees, right? I mean, it was a joke. I was embarrassed.
You know what's so funny, Tone? I got a call from someone after the second game. That they gave up 3 points in 2 weeks, and they were like asking me if they compare it to you guys in 2000.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I was like, oh yeah. I was like, let's see what that. Whatever.
Just like it. They gave up more points in one game than we did the whole season.
By the way, let's bring up one other thing here because I find this amusing because when the original kneeler Tebowing, when Tim Tebow was kneeling, what was that, 2011? Yeah. When did he kneel on the field? Well, you know,
he didn't kneel during the national anthem.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is he kneeled to praise God.
Right.
He kneeled because of his faith. But
I don't care if it rains or freezes as long as I got my plastic Jesus.
Yeah, there you go.
Dying on the dashboard of my car.
Exactly. But here's the thing about that. What I find amusing is that most of your mainstream media, even some people in the NFL, some people around, on social media, demonized him, crucified him for doing that. They mocked him for kneeling on the field.
No one with a conscience did that.
Listen,
I don't know.
A lot of them did.
I know people without consciences.
Right.
I know social.
But a lot of the mainstream media,
none of them did it.
A lot of the mainstream, there was a lot of stories. You go back and look, there was a lot of stories.
That's the
demonizing
fake
him.
media.
But so it's like, what's the message we're sending? It's not good to kneel for God, but it's good to kneel for protest.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's just something got lost.
Yeah.
Listen, this
Well, it's
whole
a translation,
I
huh?
was just gonna say that. Yeah.
this whole,
It's like people don't even, like you said, people don't even know what they're kneeling for now. They're just doing it.
as a novelty.
Yes.
It's a novelty.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is.
And to protest Trump,
Right.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone just follows what everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody just stands and does the right thing. And and I think the owners messed it up too, man. Jerry Jones, all the stuff on social media, when you kneel at my thing, you're going to be gone. Then he's out on the field and hand in hand. I think he tried to do something right. I think Mike Tomlin. I think a lot of people going after him. I think he tried to go and diffuse the situation.
Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft both did the same thing. They're
Yeah.
the two most powerful owners in this league.
Right. But I think
Along
Mike Tomlin,
with the Rooneys and the Maras and Kraft and Jerry Jones. Those are the four.
But I think
And Steve Bisciotti's
That's
coming
like
up
if you're talking about the
behind.
United Nations, those would be the countries that have all the veto power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that now you made me lose my train
United-
of thought. He cuts me off all the
I'm
time.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Which
I
one?
gotta take when I know you're going to be on the show, I got to take 2 more Adderall so I can stay focused. You smell good tonight, though, man. You got a nice look at.
It tastes better.
Yeah, you take the sweat.
Well, listen.
The sweat.
Well, listen, I'm just coming back. You said I smell good. I said it tastes better.
And the beer's good.
That was a good comeback.
First
That
it
was
was. Tell me a little bit, because I was talking to him earlier about hot yoga, right? Because he's doing hot yogas.
Yep.
So
That's
You
my
do
life.
hot yoga or
Listen,
you do hot yoga?
I do it.
Oh,
No.
okay. Do you?
7 years. 7 years.
Wow.
listen, I was thinking about doing it when he told me the hot yoga. What's the temperature in that damn room?
110 degrees.
Damn. All right.
When was the last time you did it?
This morning.
How'd it go?
4 days a
He
week.
knows. He'll tell you. He'll tell you.
If you were like a little.
I go 4 week. I do one day of Pilates. You would think
You do
you would call me like
Do you like wear
a
one of them
woman.
little tight?
Like she probably does
wear-
more.
I like
of
Pilates.
a harder
You
workout
do
than
you
I
wear
do.
them
honestly
tight little
do.
tights and stuff like that?
No, do I ever,
You got a yeast
Did
infection?
I ever wear tights? Huh? Did I ever wear tights?
I don't know,
around you?
man. Listen, I never thought
You've
you'd
been
do
around me,
Pilates,
man.
you know?
I'm walking
Yeah,
around
that's what I'm
naked around
saying.
you on half of my life.
I want to see your ID. I don't know if you're RB.
You're crazy. You're out of your mind, bro.
What do you
Oh
wear?
my
What do you
God.
wear? Tell me what you wear to a
I wear-
Pilates thing.
I get this. I go to the dental section. I get this dental floss.
I hope you wax your ass, man, because I showered
Almost
with you
like
for
a
7
butcher.
years.
Almost like butcher twine.
It's like a
Then I
nut
walk
sling.
in there like this. I walk in like this.
And
with
that
my
covers the
butcher
front.
twine-
Hey, and
with
that
my
covers the
butcher
front too,
twine.
huh? That covers the whole thing.
Nah, not even close. But I'm just saying, butcher twine.
What's your
I hear you.
twine?
I'm trying.
That's
I
got to
hear
be.
All right, listen. And what do you do? Tell me a little bit
I
about
sweat.
Pilates. I
Do
don't
you
know
do
anything about it.
reformer
sweat. I
Pilates,
sweat.
or is it the reformer Pilates, or is it
No,
just?
it's actually just basically it's core work
Oh, okay.
in the heat.
In the heat. Okay. So you're-
And
yes.
Well, listen, I'm not joking, because it does help, right?
It helps, bro.
Yeah.
Helps
listen,
with posture. Helps with.
I mean, I'm not for anything, but
Jace, you do it too?
I've done yoga, not the hot yoga, what he's talking
Yeah.
about.
Right.
That's a whole nother level.
first time I took it, I told you I thought I was having a stroke.
Yeah.
Second time, I saw a unicorn.
He did. Don't tell me
But
that.
Tony knows that the one thing I'm not is a quitter.
Hey,
So
man.
I was either going to die in there or I was going to be where I am.
So the
today.
unicorns didn't stop you.
No,
all right.
nothing sucks.
That's awesome, though, man.
Oh my God.
You're in shape, man. You look like
Yeah.
you're in shape.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to live.
Yeah, you got a
kids
young
and
daughter. You got 2 daughters. One in college. The young one now that sort of runs your life a little bit.
Sort of. You kidding me?
How old is the youngest?
8.
8. Oh wow. Yeah.
She runs the
Going
house.
on 80. She's a trip. You met her.
I did.
You
Yeah,
met her at
I
Tony's
did.
party.
Cute. Very cute, man. Yeah. I can tell though she's got all your attention probably.
Absolutely.
All right, final thoughts. You guys got final thoughts on what
Final
the
thoughts,
NFL
final
should
thoughts.
do? Michelle, you
If
want to
some
go
butts
first?
with candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day.
That's Rob Burnett, our new.
I don't know.
Mic
'cause,
drop.
like,
Here we go. Michelle's going to talk now. Try to not to talk for 5
I
seconds.
don't know how they could get this. I like you said, I don't know what the solution would be. What would it be to take away the national anthem? They can't take away the national anthem from games. So I don't know what cut back their salary, like you said previously. I don't know.
Well, you know
Maybe
what's
that would
crazy
do it.
is what I
then
saw
I feel like
there-
that would cause more riots because
Yeah, there's a
everyone can
rule.
complain about anything today.
Right? There's
yeah.
actually a rule
Yeah.
that says you have to stand for the national anthem. You have to have your helmet in your right hand.
Get
right,
out.
And your left hand, and your right hand has to be over your heart. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be
There is.
fined.
So that is true.
Yeah, that's true.
because on social media, people, that's not true. That's not true. It is true. Then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm
Wow.
understanding, it is true. Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Okay. So that.
It's not
Well, you
like
never
I'm-
followed the
it's
rule
not
in your
like,
life.
Of course. Like
Never.
I said,
You were the biggest
I
cheater
never-
I ever played
So
with.
Michelle, this
What
is
are
where
you
we got to have you look up the truth
Okay.
as to what,
Okay.
whether or not
Okay.
that's true.
Let me
So
look
Michelle's
it
got to look that up and find out.
Yeah,
how
we
Let
it's
me
gotta
look that up.
All right. So final thoughts, Rob. What's your final thoughts on it?
Final thought is, like I said, 180 plus games, and I never knelt.
There you go. There you go. Period. Mic drop. What about
and
you?
I,
Bruce?
just what I
I only
started.
speak for myself.
That's right. What I started out with is shut his mic off, please. And what I shut what I started out with was let's get back to football. Let's get back to playing football.
Yeah.
Let that be a priority. Let's respect the flag. Let's respect the guys that are on the field. Let's respect people. You know, a guy told me a long time ago, if you wake up in the morning and when you're brushing your teeth,
Oh, I found
worry about the guy that's in the mirror. If you worry about that guy and take care of what he has to do, everything else will fall into place. And I think there's too many people that worry about what everybody else does and not what they do.
Yeah.
You know, you can only control what you do. If you want to change something, you have to change it and something that you do and respect yourself and respect the people around you. And I think that's a big thing that these younger kids have got to be taught and over and over told.
Amen.
I respect the flag. I've never knelt for the flag, and I never will.
I agree 100%. I was raised to love and respect our country and our flag, and I just don't think that's the time for it. I'm not knocking anybody. I just think that we need to have a serious conversation, like you said, Rob, with the leaders. The leaders need to meet with the owners. They need to talk about this seriously. Then they need to go to their guys and say, listen, let's settle our differences.
Guys whose voices count.
There you go.
Tony knows.
Yeah, let's settle our differences. Let's get this done, and let's all stand for the flag and get back to football. That's all.
Listen, it's something that we need to do because the NFL right now is
Hurting.
under attack,
Yeah.
and and I don't think it's going to get any better.
By the way, can I ask a question? Because Stu, we haven't asked Stu yet what he thinks. But Stu, you don't have a mic. Stu doesn't have a mic. Well, I'm going to swing this over to you, Stu. But listen, Stu came up to me and said, "Hey, when we meet tonight, Goose asked me what time the game was on." I'm like, "What do you mean Goose asked you what time the game was on? He should know what time the game was on."
I don't watch Thursday Night Football.
Goose goes, you want to do the podcast? Let's do it around 7 o'clock. What time does football start? 8 or 9? And I'm thinking,
I don't watch
you're a fucking
Thursday Night
Super Bowl
Football.
champion. How do you
I
not
know.
know what
There's
time?
football like
You got the
every
ring.
day.
You got the ring.
It's inhumane.
It's
So-
too much.
So by the
Monday
way,
nights used to kill us.
by the
Way
way,
to call me out, Stu, you asshole.
by the way, Goose, we're looking at the NFL rules right here.
Yeah.
So it
it's-
is.
It said it.
Yeah, right. Michelle
There you go,
found
Michelle.
it.
Go ahead.
So, okay, the
Give
specific
it to us.
rule pertaining to the national anthem is found on pages A62-63 of the NFL League Rulebook. It states, the national anthem must be played prior to every NFL game, and all players must be on the sideline for the national anthem. During the national anthem, players on the field and bench area should stand at attention, face the flag, hold helmets in their left hand, and refrain from talking. The home team should ensure that the American flag is in good condition.
That pretty much sums it up, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Listen, and then what are the penalties? It says down at the bottom there. Failure to be on the field by the start of the national anthem may result
They
in
tickle
discipline,
you with a feather duster.
such as fine, suspension, and/or forfeiture of draft choices for violations of the above, including the first offense.
Wow.
I guess we're willing to look past that rule.
So that's
It's
listen,
there. It's true.
it's there.
It's
listen,
true.
get off your knees, get back up on your feet,
Play some football.
represent the flag, play some football,
Play some
kick
football.
some ass.
Football.
Play some real football.
Amen.
Yeah, hit somebody.
Think
All
we'll
right. Thanks. There's our views right now, and peace out.